निकलता था, हैं? मैं प्रियदर्श था, मेरे पूर्व की स्त्रियां मुझसे बहुत प्रेम करती थी और मेरे भी उसमें अत्यधिक आसक्ति थी। मैं उत्तम और लंपट था, हैं? याद रखना। प्रयोजन में नारद क्या था? नारद before he bought Narad.
So remember how was the previous life of Narad?
Upavarahan, है?
नहीं,
उपवरहन, क्या बोला? उपवरहन, है? अहम पुरा भव कुश्चित गंधर्व उपवहन नामनादीते महाकल्पे गंधर्व नाम सुसम्मतः। अर्थात मैं पूर्व कल्प में
so in the previous yuga,
नाम से सुंदर गंधर्व
I was a Gandharva called Upavarahan.
और मेरी सुंदरता, सुकुमारता,
My beauty, my young age, my sweetness, I was so attractive, incomparable. My body was so fragrant.
मैं प्रियदर्शन था, मेरी पूर्व की स्त्रियां मुझसे बहुत प्रेम करती थी और मेरे भी उनमें अत्यधिक आसक्ति थी।
And I was so attached to them also. I was completely absorbed in my beauty like this. What is the verse? Who knows? Please tell me. Verse, number.
प्रजापति आए थे और उन्होंने हरि लीला गान के लिए गंधर्व एवं अप्सराओं के निमंत्रण किया। मैं भी उस निमंत्रण में विषय में सुनकर स्त्रियों के साथ वहां पहुंच गया और उनकी
Who knows the verse, please? Which verse?
छोड़कर मन बने ढंग से लौकिक गीत गाने लगा। तब प्रजापतियों ने देखा कि यह तो हमारा अपमान कर रहा है। अपनी शक्ति के प्रभाव से मुझे साप दे दिया। तुमने हमारा अनादर किया है, अतः तुम्हारी सौंदर्य संपत्ति नष्ट हो जाए और तुम शूद्र भी हो जाओ। नारदजी इसके कार्य मेरा शूद्र कुल में जन्म होने के
Narada is saying, why I was born in a Shudra kuल, Shudra family. Narada Rishi is telling his own life history to whom? Deva. Which chapter, which sloka? First canto. Narada-Yudhishthira Samvad. So how did I obtain Bhakti Yoga? Tell me. So Narada Rishi, how did he attain to Bhagavan? Narada Rishi told, I was born from the womb of a shudrani. And my mom used to work in another person's house. So in this way my mom would take care of me. And I also didn't know when my father, I think, passed away or something. When I was 5, once my saints came to a place very close to my village. The saints started staying there near my house, near my village. And it was the time of Chaturmasya. You know the Chaturmasya? The 4 months, Shravana, Bhadra, Asin, Kartik. So in these 4 months of Chaturmasya, the sadhus, they stay in only one place. So my mom, every day, she would go to the saints to serve them somehow. So she would be able to serve the saints somehow. Because I was only a 5-year-old, I also would go with my mother and I would listen the katha of the saints. So I would also serve the saint somehow, like washing his pots, taking their remnant foods.
संत महात्मा के आदेश प्राप्त करके मैं उनके उच्छिष्ट उच्छिष्ट समझ लो.
You know what is uchista? I took the remnants of the saints.
अच्छा, ऐसे देख करके संत महात्मा मुझे
seeing me, the saints gave me a mantra. Which mantra? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So every day I would come to the saints and listen to their Harikatha. So the saints, they would also give me so much honor.
मैं संत महात्मा से मैं घर लौटना नहीं चाहता था. शाम हो जाने पर मेरे माँ
But when was
बोले चलो नारद,
very late, like after evening, then
चलो मैं जाना नहीं चाहता, किंतु मेरे माँ संत महात्मा से
my mom would take me back to the house. I didn't want to go, but my mother would drag me to go with her. So I was praying to Lord, I want to stay in the association of sadhu, but my mother, she's forcefully taking me away. Oh Bhagavan, when this day will come? So by the influence of time, what happened? One day, my mom, in the evening time, like a twilight time, my mom, she was milking the cows. Oh yeah, 7 canto, 15 chapter, 72, 69. Thank you, yes. So my mom was milking the cow. And then what happened? A black snake came and bit my mother from the back. And then my mom, she left body, she died. So I thought, oh, this is very nice. So I started staying with the saints. Wherever the saints would go, I would always go and stay with them. So they had given me a mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I started chanting this mantra with so much love and affection. So I was always chanting this mantra with love and affection, and I was praying to Lord, when I'll have the darshan of God. So I went everywhere. All the pure places, the pilgrimage places, I went to all these places. All these places where the saints are. So I would sit near the saints. So much eagerness. I would pray to Bhagavan, hey Prabhu, when will you give me darshan? When? So one day, Bhagavan, what did he do? Just like a lightning, for an instant, a moment, he gave me darshan. Having the darshan of God with his 4 arms and Shankha Chakra Gadapada, I fainted. I felt so much bliss, saying Lord, and because of this bliss, I fainted. After I woke up from after I came to my senses back, I prayed, oh Lord, please give me darshan again. And then there was an aerial voice saying, hey Narad, you'll not be able to see me again. You won't be able to see me again. Doing bhajan slowly, when the time will come. When the time will come, then you will give up your body. Then you'll attain a transcendental body and you'll be able to come to my abode. Then you'll be able to see my beautiful form. So from this on, this day on, I was always silent. And I was chanting the beautiful names of Lord. I thought, I want to stay alone in the forest doing bhajan. So when the time came,
पतित हो गया,
my material body was ended, and then I got a transcendental body.
इसी के कहा जाता है भक्ति योगा. भक्ति योगे न मनसी प्रणति.
This is called Bhakti Yoga.
भक्ति योगे न मनसी प्रणति अमर अपसत कुरुषम पूर्ण मायांच तत्श्रयण. भक्ति योगे न मनसी समग्र प्रणति अपसत पुरुषम पूर्ण मायांच तदपाश्रयम. भक्ति योग के द्वारा मैं साक्षात.
So by Bhakti Yoga, I had direct darshan of Bhagavan.
असली ये व्यासदेव के लिए कहा. अच्छा चलो.
So okay, this is about Vyasadeva, but anyway, I was reading. So
नारद ऋषि जो नारद ऋषि कह रहे हैं मेरा शूद्र कुल में.
Narada-Rishi is explaining why was he born in the Shudra family.
यहाँ पर प्रसंग आ रहे हैं.
So the context here is explaining. So why Narada was born as a Shudra? So before being born as a Narada, and the 69th verse explains, I existed as the Gandharva known as upavarahan. I was very respected by the other Gandharvas. So the demigods, they were doing fire sacrifice. Many great Prajapatis, like the progenitors of mankind, they were there. So they invited the Gandharvas, women. So being invited to that festival, I also joined, and surrounded by women, I began musically singing the glories of the demigods. Because of this, the Prajapatis, the great demigods in charge of the affairs of the universe, forcefully cursed me with these words. So when we are near the saints, you should chant songs related to God, not other things, when you're near the saints. Understand? So the Prajapatis saw. So the Prajapatis, the great demigods in charge of the affairs of the universe, forcefully cursed me with these words. Because you have committed an offense, may you immediately become a Shudra, devoid of beauty. Although I took birth as a Shudra from the womb of a maidservant, I engaged in the service of Vaishnavas who were well versed in Vedic knowledge. Consequently, in this life I got the opportunity to take birth as the son of Lord Brahma. 75. My dear Maharaj Yudhishthira, you Pandavas are so very fortunate. Many great saints who can purify all the planets of the universe come to your house just like ordinary visitors. Sorry, verse 74. The process of chanting the holy name is so powerful that by chanting, even householders, grihastas, can very easily gain the ultimate results achieved by persons in the renounced order. I have now explained to you that process of religion. This verse is very important. You should memorize this verse. Bhagavatam, 7th canto. What is the shloka? 15th chapter, 75 verse. Learn how to read the shloka, then you feel so much bliss reading. Read the...
हाँ? श्लोक की पढ़ो, अच्छा लगेगा.
Read this sloka, very nice.
जुवंगनि लोके बत भूरि भागं लोकं पुनानां मुनयो विजन्ति जेषां गृहाणां वसतीति साक्षात् दूरं परं ब्रह्म मनुष्यलिंगम. जुवंग माने आप लोग.
Juyang means you, all of you, like in the plural. All of you Pandavas. My dear Maharaj Yudhishthira, you Pandavas are so very fortunate in this world that many great saints who can purify all the planets of the universe come to your house just like ordinary visitors. Furthermore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is living confidentially with you in your house just like your brother. Nirloke means in this material world. Bata means indeed, or showing astonishment, how you're fortunate. Buribhaga, you're extremely fortunate. Lokam punanam munayo abhijanti. The munis, those who purify all the worlds and everyone, they are coming to your house. These munis. The Supreme Absolute Truth, Bhagavan, He's in the form of a human being in your house. Naradaji is saying. This verse is very important. So if you speak about the glories of Narada, you have to tell this shloka. Because this is the conversation of Narada and Yudhishthira. So Narada is glorifying the glories of Yudhishthira Maharaj. How are the Pandavas so glorious? People of this world generally think the sannyasis are better, but here Narada is saying, although you are grihastas, you are the best of all you are the crowns and jewels, shudrani of all the sannyasis. The Pandavas are the best of all the sannyasis. Why? Because even great saints come to your house. Why? Because just to take the dust that is in the doorstep of your house, they want to take this dust and apply on their heads. Why? Why the munis? They are taking the dust of the doorstep of your house. Because Parabrahma, the Supreme God who is so confidential, even for the demigods, Parabrahma Bhagavan, he's staying in your house so many times in the form of a human being. So, Supreme Brahma, God, He's in the form of human being staying in your house. You're so fortunate. Oh, how wonderful it is that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Parabrahma Krishna, who is sought by great sages for the sake of liberation and transcendental bliss, is acting as your best well-wisher, your friend, your cousin, your heart and soul, your worshipful director, and your spiritual master. So Naradaji is saying, Svayambhu Krishna has such a relationship like a worldly family member with you. with the Pandavas.
परब्रह्म भगवान श्री कृष्ण आपके प्रिय भी है,
So Parabrahma Bhagavan Krishna is so dear to you,
और सुहृद, सुहृद माने मित्र भी है,
and he's also your friend,
हितैषी भी है, और आपके ममेरी भाई है, पूज्य और आज्ञाकारी गुरु एवं संत आत्मा भी। भव पद्मजाय पदादिभि रूपं धिया वस्तुतयोर पवर्णितं मौनेन भक्तयोपोषेण पूजितं प्रसीदात्ममेष एवं सत्ततां पति। साक्षात श्री ब्रह्मा आदि भी अपने बुद्धि के द्वारा जिनकी
77.
वास्तव वर्णन
Present here now is the same Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose true form cannot be understood even by such great personalities as Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. He is realized by devotees because of their unflinching surrender. May that same Personality of Godhead, who is the maintainer of his devotees and who is worshipped by silence, by devotional service and by cessation of material activities, be pleased with us. Verse 78, chapter 15, 7 canto. Shukadeva Goswami said, Maharaj Yudhishthira, the best member of the Bharata dynasty, thus learned everything from the descriptions of Narada Muni.
देवर्षि नारद के द्वारा कहे गए उपदेश को सुनकर अत्यंत आनंदित हुए।
He was struck with wonder when he listened to all this.
नारद भगवान श्री कृष्ण की पूजा करी।
After hearing these instructions, he felt great pleasure from within his heart, and in great ecstasy, love and affection, he worshipped Lord Krishna. Narada Muni, being worshipped by Krishna and Maharaj Yudhishthira, bade them farewell and went away. Yudhishthira Maharaj, having heard that Krishna, his cousin, is God, was struck with wonder, because this look explains how Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Listening to this, Yudhishthira Maharaj, he was so struck with wonder.
प्रिय परीक्षित, इस प्रकार मैंने दक्ष पुत्रियों के पृथक पृथक वंश का
On all the planets within this universe, the varieties of living entities, moving and unmoving, including the demigods, demons and human beings, were all generated from the daughters of Maharaj Daksha. I have now described them and their different dynasties. So this is the end of the translation of the verses. 15 chapter, 7 canto. 7 canto. So this is the end of 7 canto, so now 8 canto. We enter the 8th canto. Very nice book, Bhagavatam.
शंभु मुनि के वंश विस्तार को सुनकर महाराज परीक्षित ने अन्यान्य मनु एवं तत्व मनंतर में भगवान के आविर्भाव में जिज्ञासा की। जब श्रील सुखदेव गोस्वामी ने मुनि की पुत्री और आकुति के गर्भ से भगवान
Gurudev is reading this the summarized description of this 8th canto. Let's read the verses. First he was reading the summary, and now he's going to the slokas. So, 8th canto, the Manvantan avatar are being described. The Manvantar avatars. Verse 1, 8th chapter. 8th canto, chapter 1, verse 1. 8th canto. Description of the Manvantar. King Parikshit said,
Guru Bangsu Ayam Vistara Jatra Vishwasrija Sargi Mununayan.
O my Lord, my spiritual master, now I have fully heard from your grace about the dynasty of Swayambhu Manu. But there are also other Manus. I want to hear about their dynasties. Kindly describe them to us.
स्वयंभू मनु के वंश के विषय में मुझे विस्तार पूर्वक सुनाइए.
Please tell me in details. Mercifully tell me about the dynasty of the other Manus. So now about Swayambhu Manu. O learned Brahmana, Shukadeva Goswami, the great learned persons who are completely intelligent, describe the activities and appearance of the Supreme God during the various manvantaras. We are very eager to hear about these narrations. Kindly describe them. O learned Brahma, kindly describe to us whatever activities the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who created this cosmic manifestation, has performed in the past manvantaras, is performing at present, and will perform in the future manvantaras. So from the past and present and also future manvantaras, tell me everything about them. Shukadeva Goswami said, in the present Kalpa, verse 4, there have already been 6 Manus. I have described to you Swayambhu Manu and the appearance of many demigods. In this Kalpa of Brahma, Swayambhuva is the first Manu. Verse 5, Swayambhuva Manu had 2 daughters named Akuti and Devahuti. So how many daughters Swayambhuva Manu? 2. One is called Akuti and another Devahuti. From their wombs, the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared as 2 sons named Yagamurti and Kapila respectively. These sons were entrusted with preaching about religion and knowledge. Kapiladeva was born from the womb of Devahuti. So, oh, best of the Kurus means Parikshit Maharaj. I have already described in the 3rd canto the activities of Kapil, the son of Devahuti. Now I shall describe the activities of Jagyapati, the son of Akuti. Verse 7. Swayambhu Muni, the husband of Shatarupa, was by nature not at all attached to enjoyment of the senses. Thus he gave up his kingdom of sense enjoyment and entered the forest with his wife to practice austerities. It's good or not? O son of Bharat, after Swayambhu Manu had thus entered the forest with his wife, he stood on one leg on the bank of the river Sunanda, and in this way, with only one leg touching the earth, he performed great austerities for 100 years. While performing these austerities, he spoke as follows.
श्रीमूर्मनो उवाच येन चेतयते विश्वविश्वं चेतसेनाब्जमं जो जागर्ति सनेऽस्मि न तवेद वेदजः। मनु कहते थे जिसमें इस संपूर्ण विश्व चेतना युक्त है।
Lord Manu said, the Supreme Living Being has created this material world of animation. It is not that he was created by this material world. When everything is silent, the Supreme Being stays awake as a witness. The living entity does not know him, but he knows everything.
जागते रहते हैं तथा जिन्हें कोई जीव ज्ञान नहीं सकता, परंतु जो सब कुछ जानते हैं वो भी चिदात्मा परम पुरुष है। यह संसार और
When everything is silent, the Supreme Being stays awake as a witness. The living entity does not know him, but knows everything. Within this universe, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his superfull feature, is present everywhere, wherever there are animate or inanimate things. Therefore, one should accept only that which is allotted to him. One should not desire to infringe upon the property of others. So you should think how to see the property of others or wealth of others. Should see like soil, like earth.
इस संसार और इसमें रहने वाले सभी चर अचर प्राणी ईश्वर की सत्ता एवं चेतना द्वारा व्याप्त है। अतः संसार के किसी भी
So in this world, everything which is should not be deluded by anything, but just to maintain your life, you have to use these things God gave in this world to us, but should never be eager to attain the wealth of others. Wealth of others should be to you just like a earth, soil. Bhagavan is the highest. He's constantly watching the activities of the world. No one sees him, but no one sees him. However, one should not think that because no one sees him, he does not see, for his power to see is never diminished. Therefore, everyone should worship the Super Soul. The Supreme God has no beginning, no end, and no middle, nor does he belong to a particular person or nation. He has no inside or outside. The duality is found within this material world, such as beginning and end, mine and theirs, are all absent from the personality of Godhead. The universe which emanates from him is another feature of the Lord. Therefore, the Supreme Lord is the ultimate truth, and he is complete in greatness. So, Lord has many names. He is self-manifested. He is the beginning of everything. He has millions of names and unlimited potencies. He has no beginning. Because he has created this cosmic manifestation by his external energy, the universe appears to be created, maintained, and annihilated by him. So Lord has considerable potency in his embodiment of the truth.
निष्क्रिय होने से पहले समस्त कर्मों
Therefore, to enable people to reach the stage of activities that are not tinged by fruitive results, great saints first engage people in fruitive activities.
काम होकर
For unless one begins by performing activities
है
as recommended in the Shastras, one cannot reach the stage of liberation.
कहने की तात्पर्य हो रहा है
So what he wants to say here is,
भगवत अर्पित हो जाए
if you surrender to Lord,
साधक पहले क्या करे भगवान को अपने को अर्पित कर
the Sadhak, first of all, he must surrender to Bhagavan.
पुंसार पिता विष्णु भक्ति चेत नवलक्षणा प्रहलाद महाराज जो 9 प्रकार की भक्ति के बारे में कहेंगे हम लोग आलोचना किया दोस्तों
So we were discussing that time about Prahlad Maharaj.
इति पुंसा अर्पिता जीव क्या करे पहले
So the jiva, first of all,
भगवान के चरण में अपने को
must
अर्पित कर
surrender herself to the feet of Bhagavan.
तब उनके जितने भी कार्य आदि
Then everything the jiva will do, there will not be any fault.
इसी प्रकार भी कार्य हैं पर ये सर्वशक्तिमान ईश्वर भी सृष्टि कार्य अत्यंत कार्य भी संपन्न करते हैं किंतु आत्मा लाभ से पूर्ण अनेक कारण पूर्ण कारण होने के कारण उन कार्यों को आसक्त नहीं होते
God is fully in opulence by his own gain.
करना पड़ेगा काम तो करना पड़ेगा
So you have to do activities, but how to do activities?
अनासक्त होकर
In the detached way.
खाना है कि नहीं कार्य होता है
So like to eat, you have to eat, this is activities. To sleep also. Everything we do related to our body and whatever is
उसे कैसे
the duties related to the body, actually you have to do it in a detached way.
और उसमें भगवत सेवा के लिए सोना है किससे सोते हैं
So why do you sleep actually?
यहाँ शरीर ठीक रहेगा
So that your body will be okay,
के और भी भजन
and then you can serve God even more, do more Bhagavat bhajan.
इसी प्रकार स्वयंभु मनु समाधिस्थ होकर
So in this way, Svayambhu Mani, he got into samadhi, into deep meditation,
पूर्वोक्त मंत्र का पाठ कर रहे हैं और वह देखकर असुरों को राक्षस के
and he was chanting the mantras, and then the Rakshas thought
अचल होकर कुछ
in the river,
अथवा उनको भक्षण करने के लिए ही सब प्रकार टूट पड़े जरूर स्वयंभु ऐसे निष्काम
so Svayambhu Mani was without any desires,
मंत्र आदि पाठ करने
chanting mantra, reading, where?
के जल में
Inside the water of the river.
तो अब उस समय असुर और राक्षस ने सोचा कि वे नदी में अचल होकर कुछ बड़बड़ा रहे हैं अथवा उन्हें भक्षण करने के लिए सब उन पर टूट पड़े असुर है ना
So the demons,
खाने के लिए टक्कर
verse 17. Swayambhu Mani was thus in a trance, chanting the mantras of Vedic instruction known as the Upanishads. Upon seeing him, the Rakshas and Asuras, being very hungry, wanted to devour him. Therefore they ran after him with great speed. Supreme Lord Vishnu, who sits in everyone's heart, appearing as Jagapati, observed that the Rakshas and demons were going to devour Swayambhu Manu. Thus the Lord, accompanied by his sons named the Jamas and by all other demigods, killed the demons and the Rakshasas. He then took the post of Indra and began to rule the heavenly kingdom. The son of Agni, named Swaruchisha, became the second Manu. His 7 sons are headed by Dumat, Sushena, and Rochismat.
अग्नि के पुत्र थे सारुचिस वे द्वितीय मनु हुए उन सारुचिस मनु अनेक पुत्र के ध्रुमद सुसेन और रमेश रुचिस्मत प्रमुख थे सर्वचीज मनंतर में यज्ञपुत्र रोचन के इंद्र का पद संभाला। उन समय तुष्टि आदि प्रधान देवतागण थे और ऊर्जा स्तंभ आदि वेदवादी महर्षि थे। बहुत इतिहास है।
So much history is here. So I have to remember all this. Continuing. So he's like explaining about the dynasties. Nothing else.
उस समय धर्म की पत्नी शून्यता से भगवान पुरुषोत्तम सत्यव्रत आदि देवता के साथ उत्पन्न हुए सत्यसेन नाम से प्रसिद्ध हुए।
So how can you remember? We remember all this. In this Manvantara, God appeared from the womb of Sunrita, who was the wife of Dharma, the demigod in charge of religion. The Lord was celebrated as Satyasen, and he appeared with other demigods known as the Satyavratas. The brother of the third Manu, Uttam, was celebrated by the name Tamas, and he became the fourth Manu. Tamas had 10 sons, headed by Pritu, Khyati, Nara, and Ketu. During the reign of Tamas Manu, among the demigods were the Satyakas, Haris, and Viras. The heavenly king Indra was Trishika. These sages in Saptarishi Dham were headed by Jyotirdham.
इसी मनंतरे भगवान विष्णु ने हरिमेधस की पत्नी हरिणी के गर्भ से अवतार लिया।
Text 30. Also in this Manvantara, the Supreme Lord Vishnu took birth from the womb of Harini, the wife of Harimedha, and he was known as Hari. So you see, Bhagavan Vishnu, he was born as Harini, the wife of Harimedha, and he was known as Hari. Hari saved his devotee Gajendra, the king of the elephants, from the mouth of a crocodile. Will you remember these names? How did God got the name Hari? Because in this Manvantar, Tamas Manvantar, there was a... So he was born from the womb of Harini. Vishnu took birth from the womb of Harini. They are from Harimedha.
और भगवान श्री हरि ने इसी अवतार में ग्राहक के मुख से गजेंद्र की रक्षा की थी.
Also, in this Manvantara, Vishnu took birth from the womb of Harini, the wife of Harimedha, and he was known as Hari. Hari saved his devotee Gajendra, the king of the elephants, from the mouth of a crocodile. King Parikshit said, "My lord, Badarayani, we wish to hear from you in detail how the king of the elephants, when attacked by a crocodile, was delivered by Hari." So now it's talking about Gajendra.
समस्त कथा प्रसंग में यही कथा अतिशय पवित्र धन्य शुभ और परम मंगलकारी है जिसमें उत्तम श्लोक
Verse 2, chapter 2, 8th canto.
तत्कथासु महत पुण्यं धन्यं सत्स्तयन शुभम जत्र जत्रोत्तम श्लोका भगवान दीयते हरि। समस्त कथा प्रसंग में यह कथा अतिशय पवित्र धन्य शुभ एवं मंगलकारी।
This katha is very auspicious.
श्लोक भगवान श्री हरि की महिमा गान होता है,
in which the glorification of Shri Hari, Uttama Shloka, is described.
उसी कथा को सुजी गोस्वामी सोनुकादि ऋषि के निकट कर रहे हैं।
So, Mr. Goswami is telling to the Shaunakadi rishis.
हे ऋषोनुकादि ऋषिगण,
O rishis,
परीक्षित महाराज वायुवेशन अर्थात आमरण अनशन अवस्था में बैठे थे, जब तक जीवन तब तो बैठे।
So until they were there, they continued sitting down.
अनशन और बैठे थे कौन?
Who?
परीक्षित महाराज।
Parikshit Maharaj.
जब सुखदेव गोस्वामी का इस प्रकार से भगवत कथा कहने के लिए प्रेरित किया तब बड़े आनंदित हुए और उनका अभिमन्यु।
So the Goswami said, "O Brahmanas, when Parikshit Maharaj, who was waiting, impending death, thus requested Shukadeva Goswami to speak, Shukadeva Goswami, encouraged by the king's words, offered respect to the king and spoke with great pleasure in the assembly of sages who desired to hear him." So now, second chapter, 8th canto. Second chapter, 8th canto. So in this chapter will be described the Gajendra Moksha Lila. Shukadeva Goswami said, "My dear king, there is a very large mountain called Trikuta. It is 10,000 yojans high, 80,000 miles. Being surrounded by the ocean of milk, it is very beautifully situated. The length and breadth of the mountain are of the same measurement, 80,000 miles. Its three principal peaks, which are made of iron, silver, and gold, beautify all directions in the sky. The mountain also has other peaks, which are full of jewels and minerals and are decorated with nice trees, creepers, and shrubs. The sounds of the waterfalls in the mountain create a pleasing vibration. In this way, the mountain stands, increasing the beauty of all directions." So the name of the mountain is Trikut. Trikut. So Trikut, very beautiful mountain, very large mountain. Had three peaks. So the mountain had three peaks. One made of iron, another silver, another gold. That's why the mountain had the name Trikut, because it had three peaks. So the mountain has also other peaks which are full of jewels and minerals and are decorated with nice trees, creepers, and shrubs. The sounds of the waterfalls on the mountain create a pleasing vibration. In this way, the mountain stands, increasing the beauty of all directions. Just remember what? On the banks of the ocean milk, there was a Trikuta mountain. This mountain had 3 peaks. So one peak was made of iron, another silver, and another of gold. Very beautiful. Very beautiful. So many caves also in the mountain. Verse 5. The inhabitants of the higher planets, Siddhas, Charanas, Gandharvas, Vidyadharas, serpents, Kinnaras, and Apsaras, go to that mountain to sport. Thus all the caves of the mountain are full of these denizens of the heavenly planets. Because of the resounding vibrations of the denizens of heaven, singing in the caves, the lions there, being very proud of their strength, roar with unbearable envy, thinking that another lion is roaring that way. The valleys beneath Trikuta mountain are beautifully decorated by many varieties of jungle animals. And in the trees, which are maintained in gardens by demigods, varieties of birds chirp with sweet voices. Trikuta mountain has many lakes and rivers with beaches covered by small gems, resembling grains of sand. The water is as clear as crystal, and when the demigod themselves bathe in it, their bodies lend fragrance to the water and the breeze, thus enriching the atmosphere. Verse 9:13. In the valley of Trikuta mountain there was a garden called Ritumat. This garden belonged to the great devotee Varuna and was a sporting place for the damsels of the demigods. Flowers and fruits grew there in all seasons. Among them were mandaras, parijata, patala, ashok, champak, chuta, piala, panasa, mangoes, amritakara, kramuk, coconut tree, date trees, and pomegranates. There were madukas, palm trees, tamalas, asanas, arjunas, aristas, urumbar, plaksha, banyan tree, kimshuk, and sandalwood trees. There were also pikumardas, kobidaras, saralas, suradaru, grapes, sugarcane, bananas, jambu, badari, akshas, abaya, and amalaki. So there's a big lake on that Trikuta mountain. In that garden there was a very large lake filled with shining golden lotus flowers, and the flowers known as Kumuda, Kalara, Utpala, and Shatapatra, which added excellent beauty to that mountain. There were also bilva, kapita, jambira. Intoxicated bumblebees drank honey and hummed with the chirping of the birds, whose songs were very melodious. So many kinds of birds, and also bumblebees, they were humming. The lake was crowded with swans, karandavas, chakravakas, cranes, and flocks of water chickens. So just remember, how can you remember everything? Just remember that. Where was Gajendra? He was playing in the water. And in which mountain he was playing? Name of the mountain? Trikuta mountain.
इस पर्वत के घोर जंगल में अनेक हाथियों से भरे झुंड के समान एक शक्तिशाली गजेंद्र निवास करता था। एक बार वो गजेंद्र,
the leader of the elephants who lived in the forest of the mountain Trikuta, once wandered toward the lake with his female elephants. He broke many plants, creepers, thickets, and trees, not caring for their piercing thorns. Simply by catching scent of that elephant, all the other elephants, the tigers, and the other ferocious animals, such as lions, rhinoceroses, great serpents, and black and white sarabas, fled in fear. The chamari deer also fled. So one day, Gajendra, what did he do? He went with his female elephants and small baby elephants. They were playing in that lake. So how the elephants, they play in the water?
उसके गंडस्थल से टपकते हुए मद का नाम पान करते हुए उन्मत्त भ्रमर भी उसके साथ साथ उड़ते जा रहे थे। मद की अतिशयता से गजराज की नेत्र विहल हो रहे थे। उस हाथी के विशाल शरीर के भार से चित्रकूट पर्वत भी कांप उठता था।
Surrounded by the herds, other elephants, including females, and followed by the young ones, Gajapati, the leader of the elephants, made Trikuta mountain tremble all around because of the weight of his body. So that elephant was gigantic. So he was in the Trikuta mountain. And because he was there, actually even the mountain would tremble. So his body was gigantic, the body of Gajendra. So everything would tremble. He was perspiring, liquor dripped from his mouth. Perspiring. And his vision was overwhelmed by intoxication. He was being served by bumblebees who drank honey, and from a distance he could smell the dust of the lotus flowers, which was carried from the lake by the breeze. Thus surrounded by his associates, who were afflicted by thirst, he soon arrived at the bank of the lake. The king of the elephants entered the lake, bathed thoroughly, and was relieved of his fatigue. Then, with the aid of his trunk, he drank cold, clear, nectarine water, which was mixed with the dust of the lotus flowers and water lilies, until he was fully satisfied.
अर्थात लाल कमल के पराग से सुगंधित एवं पूर्ण निर्मल तथा अमृत के समान सुस्वादु था। उस सरोवर के जल कैसे था?
How was the water of the lake? Very fragrant.
जैसे आप वो बनाते हैं ना,
Just like when you make
शरबत बनाते हैं, लाल लाल उसमें क्या डाल देते हैं? रोज डाल देते हैं ना, ऐसे सुगंधित होता है।
I don't know exactly what you make, but the rose make very nice fragrance.
उस सरोवर के जल भी ऐसे सुंदर था।
So that water of that lake was also so pure and fragrant. So Gajendra, first he drank some water, then he put that clear water and he cleaned his body with that. And he also the young baby's elephant also started taking bath.
हे राजन, उसी बीच प्रारब्धवश उस सरोवर में रहने वाले किसी महाबलशाली ग्रह ने कुंभीर ने अत्यंत क्रोध से भरकर उस दुर्मद,
like a human being who lacks spiritual knowledge and is too attached to the members of his family. Oh no, sorry, 27. By the arrangement of providence, O king, a strong crocodile was angry at the elephant and attacked the elephant's leg in the water. The elephant was certainly strong, and he tried his best to get free from this danger sent by providence. So, crocodile, he caught hold of the leg of the elephant. Thereafter, seeing Gajendra in that grave condition, his wives felt very, very sorry and began to cry. The other elephants wanted to help Gajendra, but because of the crocodile's great strength, they could not rescue him by grasping him from behind. O king, the elephant and the crocodile fought in this way, pulling one another in and out of the water. So they were pulling one another in and out of the water for 1,000 years. So the crocodile was bringing the elephant deeper into the water. And Gajendra trying to come out of the water. So in this way they were fighting in this way, like pulling and pushing. Sometimes Gajendra, with the power of his body, he could drag the crocodile out of the water. And sometimes the crocodile was dragging the elephant back to the water, dragging him into the water by catching his leg. The elephant is very powerful, or all his qualities, they only on the ground, on the soil, earth, not inside the water. And so you have to see the environment of the place, of the animal. Like the elephant is very good in the soil ground, not in the water. Okay, today we stop here. 7:45, let's do Arati. Tomorrow we'll speak more about the king of elephants. Yesterday was so hot I couldn't sleep so much. Isn't it? Yesterday there was no light, and it was so hot and there was no light. So it was like we are suffering, like like struggling. Like,
आ रही जा रही, हाँ गर्मी सही बात,
this is true.
बड़े बड़े लोग सब अपने इंजन लग
Those who are like rich, they have their own engines like for electricity.
अच्छा चलो,
Okay,
आज भी हवन के लिए जाना है,
so they have to go for fire sacrifice.
अब महाराज जी का आए नहीं अभी तक,
Maharaj haven't come yet.
अच्छा चलो जाओ उधर मार ली। घंटी एक ही है, अरे ऊपर से लिया, एक छोटा घंटी खरीद करके ले आओ भाई, और काम हो होती है।
Buy a small bell, not all the time bringing from the inside the altar. You can just bind here a small bell and then it won't disappear. Then you'll not disturb the pujari with the same bell for the Tulsi Puja. Every day we're doing the Tulsi Puja. Already 1 year has passed and we've been doing this. So remember that verse. Which verse I told? Seven Canto Narada-Rishi.
में 15 अध्याय
15th chapter, shloka number 75.
याद रखना, जुवांगने लोके बत भूरि भागा रूकं पुनानां मुनयो विजान जे सांद्रियानां वसति ति साक्षात् गूढं परं ब्रह्म मनुष्यलिंगम्।
So memorize this shloka. Do you know, have you memorized? Are you learning shlokas or not? Everybody had to learn.